Well, one thing I can definitely say about this episode of SmackDown is it was a lot better than Raw. Never really thought I would say that. Alright, y'all, SummerSlam is right around the corner, and honestly, guys, I have to say that SmackDown is doing a lot better this week. We got one more week until the go home show for SmackDown, as well as the go home show for Raw before SummerSlam. Now, I will admit, they're doing a pretty good job actually promoting the matches on the show. Definitely between Dean Ambrose and Dolph Ziggler when they had to team up at the very end against the Wyatts. I liked that match. I really enjoyed it. But the match that I was actually surprised to see it the most, especially for the opener of the show, well, not really the opener, but the setup was actually at the opener, was definitely Randy Orton versus Alberto Del Rio. Amazing match. I really did enjoy it. And it definitely showed how much passion and how much heart, well, not really so much heart, but how much passion, how much aggression was definitely in that match itself. And we don't really see a lot of aggression in WWE, and it was really refreshing to actually see that much aggression as well as a chair shot. I thought that was refreshing. I liked the match. I enjoyed it. And of course, Randy Orton was going to win and beat Alberto Del Rio because let's be honest, Alberto Del Rio is a little bit irrelevant on this show. I mean, I'm hoping that they do something with him, but he was better off on Raw. That's just me. But anyway, as for the women, things have changed up this time. We actually did have a match. Maybe not with Eva Marie, but we actually did have a match with Becky Lynch versus Alexa Bliss. That was a decent match. Got no beef there. But the one thing I loved about that match that Eva Marie came out with a distraction, distracted Becky, and Becky lost. I love Eva Marie. Y'all can hate as much as you want, but the chick knows how to be a heel. Seriously. And like I said many times before, I saw her on Main Event Live. It was a SmackDown taping, but they actually showed Main Event and Superstars at that live taping before it went to SmackDown Live. But when I actually did see her, she was a lot better than she was. She's more comfortable in being a heel now. She's okay with some of the moves she performs. And she actually performed against Natalya, and she wasn't that bad. I think she is improving. But it's a shame she didn't have a chance to showcase it, but she will. And I'm hoping the fact that she's going to actually be able to definitely close the mouths of all the naysayers. I am waiting for that day. I am waiting for all the haters to shut their mouths and to actually see that this chick can actually perform, and she's trying. That's all that I'm saying. But I am not going to get on the Eva Marie bandwagon. Well, I am a fan of hers, and Red Army, Red everything. But I already did a video on that, so I'll move on from there. Now, when it comes to SmackDown itself, we know that SmackDown is a show that is about wrestling. But I will say that the one part of the show that kind of made me sad a little bit was definitely with Heath Slater. I'm not a fan of the WWE pretty much putting out the shortcomings of a wrestler unless they can capitalize on it to make that wrestler more sympathetic towards the crowd. Then I can possibly let it slide. But when it comes to Heath Slater, we know that Heath Slater has literally gotten the short end of the stick ever since he broke up from Nexus. He's never been able to get ahead. Everybody's been able to move on but him. And I know they actually played a joke of the fact that Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon were actually going to sign him, but then in the end he was done. So we know that he's not going to be coming back anymore. So yeah, we know that joke. But honestly, let's just talk about the main event. Well, actually, no. Let's go back and talk about John Cena versus AJ Styles. That whole vignette thing. In my humble opinion, it seems like it's more like the internet fans, which represented by AJ Styles, versus the casual fans, which is represented by John Cena. That's how I'm pretty much seeing how this is going. And how John Cena was speaking, it looked like he was speaking towards the internet, and how the internet was just battling back. And in my opinion, I am wondering whether or not the internet's going to lose. But like I said before, John Cena is going to be out for 2 months, probably after SummerSlam. So it wouldn't make any sense for John Cena to go over if he's going to be gone for 2 months. So I really do believe that AJ Styles is going to win here for SummerSlam, hands down. But honestly, I'm happy that the club didn't come with them because AJ Styles needs to be capitalized on it. Needs to capitalize the fact that he's a singles competitor now and give it his all. He gives it his all in every match he's in, and he makes people look good, which is amazing. But the problem is that he's never been able to showcase his talents without having help, even though he doesn't need it. But now that the club is gone, I'm looking forward to SummerSlam because he's going to be able to showcase the talents that he has, especially against one of the top guys. Say what you want about Cena, but Cena is still the top guy in that entire company. And going up against the top guy and being able to beat the top guy by yourself will not only make you look good, it will literally just bump you up to the stratosphere. Seriously, and let's hope that happens with AJ Styles. But I'm also hoping that he actually makes John Cena look good, which I believe that he is. And I believe that John Cena has enough respect for the guy to actually go over on it with no problem. So I really do believe that's going to happen at SummerSlam, but that's a prediction that I'm actually putting out there at this moment. But anyway, about SummerSlam itself. It was nice to be able to have 2 women's matches tonight, and we actually had one, the first one that was supposed to be with Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss with Eva Marie as a distraction, and then we ended up having Carmella versus Natalya. Now, I like Carmella. I enjoy Carmella's gimmick on NXT, but it just doesn't go over well on SmackDown. The whole Jersey Shore gimmick is out of date. I'm sorry, it is. Maybe that's how they are on Staten Island. I don't know. I only know a handful of people from Staten Island, and they don't sound like that. But other than that, I'm not saying that they represent everybody from Staten Island. From those people who are from Staten Island, I'm not saying that. But the whole Jersey Shore-ish type of gimmick is just... The whole Guido Guidette from Jersey Shore thing is just done. It's been done for years. And it just doesn't bode well with her. Now, for some reason, it seems to work well with Enzo and Cass because Enzo and Cass got a little bit of charisma as well as some flavor with them. Carmella just looks like an average chick. Well, I'm not going to say average, but she just looks like any other chick wearing leather shorts with a Jersey Shore accent. That's just how I see her. I don't see her as anybody that is different. That's this completely out of it, that you can actually not be able to pick out of a crowd. You can pick her out of the crowd. Actually, no. Let me reverse that. Other than that, let me forget that whole analogy because I screwed that up. But other than that, I like Carmella. I enjoy her gimmick, but it worked for NXT and it doesn't work here. But the messed up part about it is that with Natalya, I still don't buy the fact that she's a heel. I still don't. I still believe that it's been forced. I still believe she's uncomfortable with it. And even though she's trying to be all showboaty with it, I'm sorry. There's no better heel better than her Uncle Brett. Sorry. Your Uncle Brett's a far better heel than you are. Well, I know she's not watching this, but seriously, Bret Hart is far beyond a better heel than Natalya could ever be. Seriously. But other than that, I don't buy her heel turn. I don't buy her heel actions. I just don't buy her. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see them on a pre-show and them have a random match. But since Carmella actually did win this one, I think this feud is going to continue. But I want to see more aggression coming out of Carmella. She has been aggressive. She can perform very well. She performed against Bayley and did a really great job. I enjoyed that match. That match wasn't up there with her versus Sasha, but it was definitely a really high caliber match. And I want to see more aggression coming out of Carmella versus Natalya, because Natalya's beefed up. Like, I don't know if anybody noticed, but that chick has gotten strong. Like, I have not ever seen that much muscle coming out of Natalya in a long time. But she is definitely beefed up, especially in the shoulders. She's a very strong woman. That's why I really do want to see a lot of aggression coming out of Carmella. Because they, how they're going to make it a whole Davida versus, I don't know, a female version of Goliath. But you know what I mean. They love those Dave versus Goliath style matches, but in a feminine form. And you consider her to be more like David, and you consider Natalya to be more like Goliath. I really do want to see more aggression coming out of Carmella, and I'm hoping to see that more in the pre-show. But let's move on to the main event. The main event itself was underwhelming for me because honestly, I knew that the Wyatts were going to lose. Just after they had that really great win against the New Day, they're going to be subjected to losing more and more. But here's the one thing about the Wyatt family that doesn't really make me worry so much. That group, that I can't really call it a faction anymore because it's just two people. That tag team has done really great for themselves. Even when they lose, they still are able to capture the crowd. When these guys come out, they literally have everybody interact and have their phones in the air. And they literally, you can hear a hush, a pin drop when Bray Wyatt speaks. He commands the crowd without trying, even though the guy doesn't have a lot of wins under his belt. He doesn't need them. But when it comes to matches like this, which is really, really predictable, I really wish there was a different outcome. I knew that it had to go towards the whole SummerSlam with Dolph versus Dean Ambrose thing. I had a feeling that was gonna have to happen, so the Wyatts have to lose. But I just did not want it to be the Wyatts. I really didn't. But it was them, and they ended up losing. But it was a decent match, even though that Dean Ambrose kind of botched the whole suicide dive. Please, WWE, tell these folks to stop doing suicide dives. Big E botches it up all the time. You got Dean Ambrose getting caught in the ropes. Sami Zayn did the exact same thing. Can we get them to stop doing it? Because is that something we can ban? Like, without, please, going through the ropes? I don't mind jumping off the top. But can we please just stop the suicide dive? It's just not working. Well, that's just me. But other than that, the match was okay. It wasn't horrible, but we know that Dolph Ziggler can put on a great show as well with Dean Ambrose. For some reason, these guys go really well in the ring, and they can just go and go and go. So we knew it was going to be great. And even though the Wyatt family have a different type of style of performing, or more like fighting, it still worked. And I still kind of enjoyed it. It was okay. It wasn't like a grade A 100% stellar match, but it was good. It was pretty entertaining to watch. But before I actually close this out, I'm going to talk about American Alpha. Now, it's a shame that we're not going to really see Shelton Benjamin because he got injured, so he's not going to be coming back to WWE for a while. But it's kind of cool that we actually did see the American Alpha go out there and perform against a bunch of jobbers. I thought that was pretty cool. How everybody came out, their entire tag team division came out to watch these guys perform. Way to go and good call, because it makes American Alpha look amazing. It makes them look important, which is good, because now that they're actually going to have tag team belts, you want to have the tag team division out there in the forefront. And it'll be great to have American Alpha actually win the belt first, because those would be the people that everybody would be gunning for. And honestly, as much as I would love to actually have a heel champion, SmackDown has to start off with a champion with champions that actually get noticed a lot more. And American Alpha definitely is the right tag team to get the belt first. So I'm hoping that that's going to actually happen. So it's great how everybody came out and just stared them down, because it makes them look like they're extremely important and they're the guys to look for. They're the guys to gun for. So I think that was a great call on their part. Way to go, WWE. But my overall thoughts of this SmackDown is this. This SmackDown far was so much better than Raw. Mostly because of the fact that they actually did stick to the whole SmackDown thing. I mean, not SmackDown thing, but they actually did stick to SummerSlam. They did their job in actually promoting SummerSlam for their brand and had some decent matches to boot. I loved how the heels performed like heels, true heels in my opinion, and I liked the way that they actually did make American Alpha look dominant. Not so much dominant, but also important. And that was an amazing job at that, because you really do want to have your tag team division noticed, since Raw has their cruiserweight division. So I think they really did a great job there. Now, when it also comes to the main event, yeah, the main event was a bit meh, but it wasn't horrible. It actually was pretty entertaining, especially how Dean Ambrose clocked Dolph Ziggler in the end, saying, hey, we're done, keep it moving. And Dean Ambrose kind of stayed in character, and he was like, look, we're done. And he just clocked Dolph Ziggler in the head. I thought that was a pretty good move, a great way to end the show. So honestly, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really great way to showcase the pay-per-view, as well as their divisions with tag team and women's, having both matches this time, and having a lot of good singles matches leading on up to SummerSlam. And pretty much giving us a preview of Cena versus AJ Styles. They probably want to give him a bit of a break because they want him to actually be in good condition. And like I said, John Cena is going to be leaving for 2 months, so they don't want him to have him all beaten up and broken on the show. So great call. Good idea. But other than that, guys, I enjoy SmackDown. What are your thoughts? I'm going to leave a poll up there somewhere in the card. So you guys let me know how you feel about SmackDown. What are your how you feel about SmackDown? Was it great? Was it bad? I'm gonna leave a poll up there because I really am curious to see what you guys think about it. And if you feel like that you were, are you a better person to change the entire show? I want to hear your thoughts. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I really want to hear whether or not you guys think that there's some matches that should have been changed. And I know you guys gonna make comments about Eva Marie, but you know what? It's all good. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I am Nature Girl 30. I am done here. Peace out.